Hello, I'm AbyaX Toycat, and 1.21 is the next major update coming out for Minecraft, which has been worked on since 1.20 came out in June. This is very early days for update development, but yet we've already seen a developer tweet what they've been working on in the update, as well as seeing a leak account get set up, which was going to share 1.21 features, but then got deleted after sharing this image. This is a very unusual situation. Usually in August, before any snapshots have come out, if you were to ask what they're going to add in the next update or what the theme would be, most people would have no idea, but this time the community seems fairly sure, and let's go into why that is. Right after I mention, you need to have a healthy dose of skepticism for anything not officially announced by Mojang. This is something that's important to say. Mojang will announce the theme of 1.21, most likely at Minecraft Live this year, as they've done in previous years, and until that happens, and honestly even after they've announced it, you still can't be 100% sure what's going to be inside. I need to clarify that because some people, and even YouTubers, will present leaks as if they're absolute truth, but if something isn't official, it's important to ask why it's being posted the way it is and why it's not official, which is why when Food Eater Registered thinks that it'll be a desert update because of the recent leak, it's important to look at that leak, which came from Nembon, by the way, a Minecraft developer, posting a joke about the camel table. Obviously this isn't the leak, instead the leak is the thing he didn't mean to post, which is in the background. That is sand layers back there, or at least they look like partial sand blocks, but they're in different forms, which makes it very much clear that this is layered sand. In the same format that we have layered snow, it looks like we could have layered sand for deserts. That sounds like an incredible peek into the desert update, which would be a big improvement for the game if we didn't see Nembon himself say, for those that got hyped up from my previous post, it's my bad, I just by accident was using the same world for fixing camel standing up into blocks and to test light effect on retextured snow layers with high random tick speed. Nothing more than that, ... And although I think this is probably accurate, that he's saying, yeah, the sand layers that it looks like you're seeing are not sand layers, they're just retextured snow, which makes sense that you'd have to do that to test the lighting at the exact same time. However, the question of when you look in there and there's some random suspicious sand laying around, and maybe even when you zoom in on the far left here, it kind of looks like suspicious sand slabs, do make it seem a little bit more like they are testing on the desert deliberately so they can actually do some fun things. Is this just a one-off lighting test? That may well be the case, but once you start adding more blocks in there, there starts to be a little questioning to it. However, I would say, especially if the developer himself says, yeah, this is nothing that we are saying yet, this is nothing we're announcing, this is nothing to be excited for, I would say you take that with a grain of salt, but it is very interesting to see it straight from the source, because the second leak that we saw for 1.21 was from a bit less of an official place. You might remember Roger Badgerman, because the Minecraft community never really had a leaking scene before him. However, by starting with leaking Minecraft Legends stuff, and then eventually Minecraft Live mob votes, and then eventually Minecraft 1.20 features, Roger Badgerman had a name for making big leaks with nothing to back it up, but then always being correct. Whether he was a Mojang employee or a leaker or whatever it was, he had access to things before they went live, with the one thing that didn't make it to the game being these weird flowers, which Mojang even filed an enforcement strike against, which shut down his entire account. And so now the community doesn't have any leaks, except a second account was set up by someone called Dan Gioni, who just says that they are once again an actual games industry insider, and weirdly they had nothing to back it up. This is the problem with every leaker, you can never verify what they're saying is true, because very deliberately they have to confirm they're not part of an organization. So this account did start to pick up some steam surprisingly, and then the person decided to tweet some things from 1.21, in fact 21 images, but after posting the third one, which was an image of a crafting table with a hopper above it and some redstone going into it, the account seems to have been deleted. This is very, very weird. In fact, we have the exact same thing that happened with Roger Badgerman. He posted an emoji of him saluting to go away, and so that confirms, you might say, that this is going to be a brand new 1.21 feature, automatic crafting. Can you imagine the possibilities that come from being able to automatically craft stuff at the end of your farms? There are a lot of things that would happen here, and this is a very exciting feature. However, I do need to be very clear here, even though this sounds very exciting, and it sounds exactly like the Roger Badgerman thing, and therefore it's confirmed, the important thing about leaking accounts is they're only as good as their last accurate prediction. They can make fake predictions all day, all long, and because they deliberately are hiding their identities, if they are wrong, then the only thing that matters for is their future predictions, and Dan Gioni has yet to make a true one, and the fact that a lot of people have followed him for this doesn't necessarily prove anything. The reason that you can tell that Nembon was actually working on sand layers, even if it was just a retexture, was because he posted a screenshot, and he's an official Mojang developer. You can see the list of them on their website. However, people like Dan Gioni's and the many other accounts I'm sure that exist like this in the world are that you can't confirm if they are real. They can say anything they like, and they're only proven once one of their predictions comes true. This means there's a bit of a flaw with posting one big prediction and then going away, because the only time we'll know if this is actually accurate is by the time it doesn't matter, because it's actually in the game. In fact, I would also say that having a hopper and a crafting table is one of those really good ideas that everyone has that I don't necessarily think you would be able to prove in any easy way unless you were a Mojang employee. And if you're a Mojang employee, you would obviously not be risking your whole career, your very well-paid job, because you know what happened to Roger Badgman. Is this possibly true? Yes. Is this definitely true? No. And so even though they're both leaks, they both have very different authenticity ratings. There were definitely sand slabs in the game at some point. Whether that's going anywhere or not is something that is yet to be seen. However, the fact that he was working on the desert somewhat, I mean, the camel is one part of it, but also so is the sand slabs, does tell us that the idea of a desert update isn't entirely out of the question, but also it's not what the community largely thinks is going to happen. I ran a poll recently just asking people what they thought Minecraft 1.21 would be. This is not science, this is just me asking people's opinions, and from the 4 options I gave, 52% of people think it will be an end update. Bear in mind that 19% of people say something else. That is everything from a update to bees to an update to trees. Anything you want in the game, only 1 in 5 people picked. 13% of people said Caves and Cliffs Part 13, just as a joke. And so 16% of people think the inventory needs an update, but more than 3 times that many think an end should be updated. Something that Mojang tends to do is if there is an overwhelming community need for something, they would like to try and respond to that, have a fan favorite. And so does this mean an end update is happening? Not necessarily, but it does make it even more likely. I think the big problem with an end update is definitely that Mojang has already done one. It was 1.9, so only 12 updates ago now. Everyone is saying the end looks devoid of any life, but they actually added all the life that exists there just 12 updates ago. If they add a bunch of life there now, even if they add their traditional 3 to 5 biomes they've done for the last few updates, if they add these new biomes to the end, then will this actually change anything in people's hearts and minds? And should they make the end a really powerful place given how few people go there? That is an important question that I'm sure is going through Mojang's head. They worked on an entire Nether update, which is the second dimension for the game, and I'm sure they have the numbers for how many players never went to the Nether, despite that being a huge update. I'm sure they also, though, have the numbers of how many more sales they got for Minecraft after such a huge update, so I'm sure that gives them a good information on whether it's a good business, but also a good creative and player-based decision to make an end update. However, for fun, I then asked people what they thought the next update would be, and here are their suggestions. Cosmodog hopes for a farm update because the game desperately needs one. I totally agree that 1.21 focusing on farming would be a really good idea. We could actually make it a fleshed out mechanic like other games have, so you'd want to just spend some time farming around, which doesn't really happen past the early-ish game. Also, the BCO says, considering shaders are nearing final completions, I think an ambience update is a likely contender, something that actually makes Minecraft feels alive. So this sounds like a good idea until you realize that shaders are a Minecraft Bedrock only thing, or rather deferred rendering and RTX and all that stuff. These are Bedrock only features, and every Minecraft update considers how well can they add all the features to both. Also, it's only in preview, so I think it's not likely. It's a good idea, but also imagine after the last 2 updates bringing out 1.21, the ambience update, because like Bibbap the Grump says, oh yeah, there could be a lot of small but meaningful changes. That's what the last 2 updates have been, and I think the community reception hasn't been as positive as it would have been to a Nether update, a Village and Pillage update, Aquatic, or even Caves and Cliffs. I think either one of the 2 parts were both pretty exciting by comparison to these much smaller updates. So I hope that's not what they're planning, given that we've already had a lot of these minor updates focusing on these small parts of the game. It'd be cool to go back to one of the big ones, and Matt IDM50 has the most upvoted idea here, which was they still need to do the Promised Desert, Badlands, and Savannah updates from the biome vote. All 3 are pretty similar, and so I think a hot themed update should come. This is something that is true. Mojang does a vote every year at Minecraft Live. In fact, they'll probably do one this year when they're announcing the 1.21 theme, and so during these themes, they note very clearly, with the exception of the mob vote, that every single biome that you vote for, even if it comes second or third, will be added to the game eventually. It's a weird thing to clarify, and it used to be that they were clearly just saying we could come back to it, but then they came back for the swamp biome and gave that a big update alongside the mangrove swamp. We got swamp chests, we got frogs, and so it seems as though they actually are taking the second place vote seriously, which is why the desert biome with its palm trees, meerkats, and oases might be added alongside the savannah with its baobabs, termites, and ostriches, and even the mesa, which of course has its equally exciting new cactus and vultures and tumbleweeds. Yeah, these are all equally exciting features, and you can tell why only 14% of people voted for Badlands. But tying all of these things into an update would be a really great one, because I think in the same way that Minecraft updated all of the oceans, it was a little bit of a weird thing to be, at 1.19 to just update one swamp biome. I think taking a whole swath of biomes and then working on how they integrate together is actually a great way to do the single biome update, but make it exciting and not as dull. And so will we be seeing a hot biome update? Well, let's just say it would be achieving free thing Mojang already says they're going to do at some point with something we've seen a Mojang developer working on. But as I said at the start of the video, it's important to just have a healthy amount of skepticism for basically anything anyone tries to tell you that isn't official, because although some theories turn out to be true, not all theories do, and that's why it's important to just keep in mind that Minecraft will be announcing this at Minecraft Live, or Minecon Live, whatever you want to call it, and that is going to be happening in the next couple of months now. And you might be curious as to like, oh, so is that like an in-person event? I mean, I know it was online for the last few years, but as Fazbro Gaming 1776 puts it, or 7776, COVID-19 is the reason Minecon's online, right? But it's been 3 years, restaurants and theaters are opened up now, people are now going back to their daily jobs. I don't see people wearing masks in public anymore. In fact, I forgot about it for many months till now. I would say that I forgot about COVID, but I'm pretty sure I caught it this week. It's been rough. But the interesting thing about this point is that, yeah, Mojang doing their Minecraft Live show, their yearly event where they announce the update, which used to be at Minecons, and doing that online, that might seem like it's a pandemic thing, because the idea of a convention going online is such a 2020 thing, but actually this happened way back in 2017. So either Mojang knew something they weren't telling the rest of the world, or it was unrelated to the pandemic, and the actual reason seems to have been that Mojang deliberately didn't want to make money on Minecon. They wanted it to just be a big meetup of people, so they charged break-even prices, which was still $120 or something for 10,000 people. God knows how they don't make money on that. But anyway, my point here is to say that they weren't making money on it, and so when people got upset that they weren't getting capes, and after, people kept saying it's cringe and awkward, and, there was all these complaints about Minecon, and so they just figured, let's do this solely online. We're not going to spend a bunch of money to do something that people are going to complain about, and so that is why Minecraft going back in person with Mine Festival is going to be very different, it seems, to the Minecon Online, which is still going to be the yearly online show. And the reason they can do that is because they can script it out way better. They can slide in more subtle mentions about what they're doing with the UN or the new Minecraft Legends update. They're going to really probably push this year to get Minecraft Legends exciting to people. But yeah, that's when we're learning officially about 1.21. And if we're lucky, it's a small, or maybe if we're unlucky, I don't know, depending on your thoughts, it'll be coming out at the end of this year. But most likely, 90% it is going to be coming out next June. June is the time they tried to target for every Minecraft update. It's the perfect time they have worked out each year, and so that is when we'll actually see this update, whether it's desert, end, inventory, or something else altogether. If you have an idea about this update, I'd actually love to hear it. And also, if you're curious, on my channel this week, I'm starting a new series. If you're curious, if you're excited, it's going to be an ultimate guide to a lot of fundamental things in Minecraft. Rather than doing what most people do, where they're like, okay, here's how you start a new world. When you load up, you want to craft a bed with 3 planks and 3 wool. I want to go into the more like stuff that is somewhat early, but you still need to know about. So brewing, for example, or the Nether and what's going on there, or strongholds and how you actually find them using triangulation and the weird things that go on there. I want to make a bunch of hopefully useful guides about these kind of key mechanics, which a lot of people might be missing, and so they're going to be the ultimate guides, and it's going to be starting next week. I'm excited for it, and so yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel to see that, as well as tomorrow's Seed Sunday, which is Crack Magnet finally responding to your seeds from last week. I'm excited for it. I hope you are too, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one, because I think I have COVID. I'm gonna go rest. Goodbye.